Thanks for staying with us. It has been an amazing couple of days. I used to run events for a living, and you get to the end, and it's time to thank everybody, and you go, okay, I got to remember to thank everybody. And I don't think it's be that hard today because you've all been sort of reflecting all of this great energy and this graciousness and this gratefulness. And I know that what we're really doing right now is expressing what you've all been saying. So we're going to do some thanks here right now, and we're going to start with the people who have made it possible for hosts to hold this event. You all know we are a nonprofit. So someone has to pay for this space and this food and all of the things that make it possible for us to come together these 3 days and share what we've been sharing. So a big round of applause, please, for our capstone sponsors, Microsoft and Acela. You guys are the best. You really are. We could not thank you enough. We have so many more sponsors, Google, Socrata, all the others that are pictured here. They've all done different things for us, and you've been able to interact with them, hopefully, out in that Civic Tech Fair. We're just so grateful to them. I also want you guys to be aware that the folks that pay for this event pay for this event. We also run all of these programs, our fellowship, peer network, the accelerator, all of the things that we do, and we have funding throughout the year from a wide variety of different institutions and individuals and companies. We would be here till about 8 o'clock if I named them all, but again, we cannot do Code for America without them. Benji De La Pena is here from the Knight Foundation. I saw him, he's over there. Please thank him personally. Oh, Benji also called me a young woman on stage yesterday, so I'm giving you another shout out for that one. Thanks. Stacy Donahue from the Omidyar Network, where are you? I hope you're in the room. If not, she has been here the whole time. Stacy? No? She really has. She must have gone home in the end, but she's been here the whole time, and she is being there is something she is very good at. She has always been there for me and for the organization, and we are so grateful to her. And there is a crew of folks here from Google.org. I don't know who is still here. Is anyone here still from Google.org? There we go. Fumi is here. I know there's a bunch of others that are too shy to raise their hands, but thank you to all of the wonderful folks from Google.org who have been so supportive as well. Again, as with all of them, not just in terms of dollars, in terms of so many different things. So thank you guys. Again, many, many, many other funders to thank, but please, when you see them on our website and you interact with those people, tell them thank you, because that's how we get to do our work. There's a bunch of other people to thank, but I can't go any further without talking about one person in particular. We're talking again about the fact that I was in DC last year, as many of you know. Well, you probably all have asked yourself, and many of you have asked me directly, how did you do that? How did you leave an organization for a year? A relatively young organization that's still sort of setting its agenda and finding its place in the world. And then just somehow come back. And not only was everything not falling apart, but was actually a lot better than how you left it. And how did you have the confidence to go away for a year and know that that was going to happen? And there are a lot of people, actually, who did come together to make that happen, including the wonderful board of Code for America, and there are many of them here today. As you know, John is on the board, Tim O'Reilly, who was referenced many times, Stacy, and others really rallied, and of course the staff really rallied, our supporters really rallied. But there is one person who really stepped up to lead this organization, to be unbelievably dedicated to this cause with an enormous amount of wisdom and empathy and strength. And I am eternally grateful to him for really letting me go, because it would not have gone if he had not been willing to do this. And I would really like him to come out and say a few words to you guys. Please welcome Bob Softman.
Thank you. When you were talking about somebody with wisdom and empathy, I had no idea what you were talking about. I thought you were going to introduce somebody else.
This is a lie. Everybody knows that you are the therapist of the organization as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I also, thank you for that. I also want to give a big shout out to Abi Numani, who I think is somewhere in the audience.
Abi, where are you?
hiding back there. A dear friend, a great colleague, and someone who I have enjoyed working with immensely. And Abhi, we are all on the sidelines rooting for big things for you in LA in the coming years. And congratulations.
Hey, and Abhi, thanks again for those posters. The one that John just showed with Abraham Lincoln, that was not Code for America's work. That was Abhi Naumani's work.
And thank you. The last year has been a really interesting year, and I'm honored to have been in that position, and really thank all of the people who had to put up with me, put up with Abhi, which was, I think, a little bit more difficult than putting up with me, having said that. And I'm glad you're back.
Glad to be back.
So we're winding down. We're winding down. It's been 3 very intensive days. You know, we've had, I think, something like 35 sessions on this stage. We had like 70 breakout sessions and conference sessions and hack sessions, and we've had the Civic Tech Fair, and we've been at the Ignites. We've had late nights and early mornings, and we're still here. And we're still energized, and just your stamina is awesome. And so kudos to you for still being here. Some of you may be feeling a little bit like I'm feeling, which is my head is spinning a little bit with all of the things that we've seen over the last 3 days. And I spent the last couple of hours trying to figure out, so what am I going to walk away with at the end of the conference? What are the things that are going to bubble up to the surface? And there's a lot of them, and there's certainly more of them than we have time to talk about. But what became so obvious to me was that fundamental to so much of what we've seen over the last 3 days has been this deep sense of caring. This deep sense of caring. It's really been remarkable to me. You think about Tiffany Bell and Christy Tillman, right? 2 women who cared so much, rallied people through technology to support a city that they've never been in and people that they've never met, and making an enormous difference. Think about Alan Williams, who believed that he's going to be a better practitioner by having personal experience with food stamps and medical services from the county. Or the story of Catherine Bracey's brother, you know, who lives in silent resignation for a circumstance that isn't right. These are powerful, inspirational moments, and they touch me. And when I was thinking about this sense of caring, I realized it's not caring from a distance. This isn't sort of an intellectual exercise we're involved in to understand the needs that people have and try to match solutions to them. This is caring up front. It's caring up front. It's really putting ourselves directly in the shoes of the people that we're trying to serve. And that's so powerful, and it's so inspirational. And what I was reminded of, and I thank you for reminding me of this, is that when we care up front, the needs become real, and the solutions become urgent, right? And so that we grab at tools and people and resources and rally them quickly to make a difference. And that's inspirational. And what's been really clear about the last 3 days is our quiver is full, and it's getting fuller with these kinds of tools and approaches and solutions. And so this gives me energy. This gives me a connection to the work that I do, and hopefully a connection for you to the work that you do, that it really is powerful and really meaningful and reminds us why we're doing this stuff. So I just wanted to throw that out there because it made such an impact on me over the last 3 days, and I hope it did to you guys as well. And I really am thankful and grateful that you've reminded me of this. So thank you for that. So sort of in the, keeping with the theme of caring, Jen and I just wanted to take a minute to thank the people and acknowledge the people who've cared for us for the last 3 days. You know that pulling off an event like this with a number of people and the complexity of the event is not an easy thing. And Jake Solomon, small things lead to big things, and that is clearly true here. And there's a lot of people we just want to acknowledge, and first and foremost, the staff of Code for America and the fellows. This is a very uplifting time at Code for America, because it's where you see people working together and collaborating on a common goal, and how energizing that is, and how you realize that so many amazing things can get done when we work together and are really focused on a common goal. Too many staff and too many fellows to acknowledge by name, but I would like to call out two people in particular. The person who has been responsible for sort of pulling together this experience, the operations and the logistics. I'd like to recognize Megan O'Reilly. Just really, it's really remarkable. You know that there are thousands of logistical things to take care of, and Megan just takes care of them as if she's in total control. It's wonderful to see. And the person who filled this experience with a really remarkable program with speakers and sessions that hung together, and that's Lauren Dyson, and really remarkable. So a big shout out to the staff and the fellows and all of the others who are participating in making this happen.
And if you like the showmanship here, when we like the drama, there's some folks to thank backstage. And most events actually, I think, forget to thank the backstage staff. But we never do, partly because they have been intimately involved with this event from the beginning. We actually launched Code for America at a Gov 2.0 event that ETS was running. And then I announced that I was leaving my company to go start Code for America at another event that ETS was running. And Stephanie Nix has been at this, and Kevin Gorman and many of the staff. And we brought on Caspian Productions, an amazing production company, to do this. And they watch out for us, getting us into other events and connecting us with people. None of the people who run the event backstage are just sort of, playing around with their iPads during this stuff. They're all watching it and telling us how amazing the content is, because they really, really care. And I would love to give a big round of applause for ETS, Caspian, and everyone else who's making it work from back there.
There is yet another person to thank. It's been our narrator and chronicler, and once in a while, the humorist. Not all the time, but once in a while, the humorist. David Eves, remarkable.
And you get a little more David Eves in just a second here. I guess there's one last group of people to thank. And I just had this moment, I think, sort of similar to Bob's today when I was in the 10 o'clock session on the safety and justice and health focus areas that Jack so brilliantly ran. We was having everybody go around the room and talk about why they were there and the challenges they were facing in these different focus areas. And every single person, as they described why they were there, represented between 1 and 5 unbelievably large problems/opportunities, and there were 40 people in the room. And I just, standing there, was so grateful for just the insight and the realization that as we sort of dig into these places, we're not going to have to look very far for inspiration. But I did kind of have this absolute meltdown moment where I thought, oh my God, we're never going to be able to do this. I don't mean Code for America. I was like, the problem is so big. There are so many things to tackle. We must be absolutely nuts. And I kind of dissolved in my organs inside, kind of dissolved for a few minutes. And I sort of stood there. And then I realized I had a meeting, so I went out of the room, and I opened up the door of the hallway, and there were hundreds of people going from session to session and talking with each other and scheming and planning, and I realized, right, okay, problem's really big, but every year more people are coming to this thing, and every year more people are going home and telling other people that they should get involved with this and that they should get on board with this agenda. And then I realized We are going to do it because lots of hands together will lift this incredibly heavy burden. And so that's a long way of saying thanks to all of you for making this event, and not just the event, but to making this movement and making it meaningful. Please do go home and tell all your friends and all your colleagues. Take the videos, which are already up online, and share them with friends, share them on social media, whichever ones you thought really spoke to you the most. And let's grow this movement. And thank you guys very, very much.
Thank you.